Some of us are natural competitors. We just have a competitive nature. It's something that is just part of us, wired, within our DNA. It's something that we don't even necessarily know we're doing sometimes while we're doing it. Me personally, I'm not a competitive person. I don't really care much for competition, just because, especially when I'm surrounded by people who are super competitive and we're playing a game or something and they get really way into it, I'm like, this just stop being fun. A little bit of healthy competition, all in good fun, but when people take it way too seriously and they start even being a little bit shady, maybe a little underhanded, sometimes even straight up mean, that's when your competitive nature becomes a problem for you and for those around you. You may not see anything wrong with it, but everybody else, different story. You're going to see me touching on similar themes that I have touched on in the other parts of this series, why cigar influencers are assholes, but I'm going to try and boil it down to the concept that I just mentioned, the idea of competing with each other. Because here's the truth, friends, this is not a competition, nor should it be. We're here to smoke cigars, have a good time, yes, network, yes, build our brands, yes, build our businesses, but we really shouldn't be stepping on each other, talking shit about one another behind each other's backs, spreading gossip, acting like we're too good for certain people or we're better than certain people. No room for that shit here. So sit back and relax. Emphasis on the word relax, because really, this isn't a competition. I'm not here to compete, neither should you. I also might touch a little bit on why y'all should be ashamed of yourselves, and I won't apologize for it. Cue that intro. Hey guys, you're watching Dad Smoking Cigars, sponsored by StogieLives.com, Cigar social media, and of course, Casa Cuevas Cigars. From our Casa to yours, thank you so much for joining me for another Friday video. Now, as I mentioned before, I am not a competitive person. There have been times where I was a little overly competitive, like maybe playing a game with someone or certain people. Like trivia games, I can get cocky as hell, because I know a lot of useless crap revolving around movies, music, and TV shows. Really, it's nothing that I flaunt or am overly proud of, but when I get into those games sometimes, there's certain people who either want to be on my team or they don't want to play with me because I know a little bit too much and the answers to certain questions that nobody else knows. But other stuff, it's not how I'm wired. It's not in my genetics. It's not something that I feel particularly compelled to do or compelled to behave. But I definitely know plenty of people who are competitive, and I don't know if I said this prior, but there's a difference between healthy competition and just acting like everyone is your competition. Obviously, businesses compete with each other. People compete to win certain honors, awards, prizes, scholarships, and things like that. There's competition everywhere. Yes, it exists. It's obviously here, there, and everywhere. Sports teams, blah, 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 blah. Competition is all over the place. But when I think about the cigar community and kind of, which is a niche community as it is, and then those of us who do stuff like what I do and others do, where we create content, whether on our social media pages or through YouTube or other platforms, where we start sharing our enjoyment and love of cigars, and it can lead to other things. Something I've also mentioned before in prior episodes and prior parts of this series in particular, it can lead to some pretty cool stuff. I've been fortunate enough to be able to be a part of that demographic. Now, through all my networking and rubbing elbows with people in cigar lounges and events and places that I've gone to, and even the people who I encounter on social media who are also doing similarly what I'm doing, there's people that I've encountered that I'm not crazy about. There's people that I've encountered that, they're not people that I would regularly or even largely associate with. But at the same time, I respect the fact that they're content creators and they can do them all they want. They can stay in their lane and I'll stay in mine because, again, this isn't a competition. Even if there was another content creator who, for whatever reason, and this isn't the case at all in any way, shape, or form, but let's just say for the sake of argument, that there was some Yahoo cigar content creator out there who, for whatever reason, decided to target me. And by target, I mean either blatantly copy or rip off what I'm doing, or just enough to make it obvious that they're doing similarly what I'm doing, or they try to, for whatever reason, try to one-up me, and even other content creators, they're trying to frequently one-up. Like if I post a video about an unboxing that I did, then they'll post a video about an even bigger unboxing, or quote-unquote cooler unboxing, which I don't even know if that is a thing. But basically, like, when it all boils down, the person's being a dick. And for some reason, they're trying to, like, do better than me, one-up me, and, you know, I don't even know. But, you know, you get what I'm saying. If that were actually happening, if there were a person out there who, for some reason, decided to do that, and with me in mind, targeting me, to be 100% honest, I could give a shit. Reason being, I'm not in competition with that person. I do not see that person as a threat. And why would I see them as a threat anyway? Because really, what are they threatening? They're just threatening to be better, have more subscribers, have more endorsement deals, have more sponsorships. Cool. Go for it. You do you. I don't care. And let's kind of add another caveat. Let's just say they were talking mad crap about me behind my back, saying awful things about me, saying, you know, just, I don't know. You use your imagination when it comes to, like, what kind of stereotypical stuff flows down the river of crap that is the rumor mill in so many different communities. And you just imagine what a person might say about me or anyone if they wanted to try and get under their skin. I know who I am, and there is a lot of people, both online and in person, who I've gotten to know in person, who've hung out with me, talked with me, had conversations with me. They know who I am too. So depending on what's floating down the rumor mill, they're going to know what's true and what's not. And unless you're trying to drag, like, my family through the mud or anything like that, my kids, you know, my wife or anyone in my family, you're going to try and drag them through the mud and all that kind of stuff, which would be the ultimate case of fuck around and find out in regards to me. If that's not happening and all they're trying to do is just say bad crap about me, I'm just going to roll my eyes, shrug my shoulders, like, whatever, they're wasting their breath, they're wasting their time and their energy. I don't care. Unfortunately, though, there are people who participate in this kind of stuff. You will never hear me mention names. You will never hear me, like, point out to anyone in particular. If this triggers you, I'm not going to apologize for it. But there are people in this community who like to start up the gossip machine, or talk, crap about people behind their back. Whether they, had a falling out or something actually happened or not, they decide to take it upon themselves to either snub them, talk crap about them, or just act like they're better than this person. And I'm going to say this, and I think I speak for the majority of the cigar community when I say it, there's no room for that bullshit around these parts. Or at least there shouldn't be. Because when I have hung out with genuine, kind, fun people that, whether I'm networking with them or not, whether they're just friends and we're hanging out to have a cigar, or I'm sitting down with a manufacturer, or someone whose brand I like, I'm going to an event, whatever. Those are the times that I'm the most relaxed and most at ease and at peace with whatever's going on in my week, whether good or bad. I can kind of take a step back and just enjoy. Which, if I had to boil down the community at large and what it should be, the majority of the moments within that community look like that, should always look like that, and shouldn't be about anything other than that. If you lost me there for a second there, because it was a lot of that's and I was just kind of, talking, but it all boils down to this. Coming together over this. Coming together and enjoying this and having great conversation over this. A good cigar, or whatever cigars you enjoy, that is the entire point. No matter who you are or what you do, let's just go back to the influencer community. Again, another niche community within a niche community. There's not a whole lot of us when you think about the cigar community at large. Going on our socials, shooting our content, etc. We enjoy what we do. And maybe you're a rep, you're an ambassador, you're a broker, you're somebody who is involved in the cigar community or industry to some degree. When you ask yourself the question, why did I get into it? It's because I love cigars. That's why I started doing this. That's why I keep doing this. Love of the cigars and love of the people within the community. And one thing I hate seeing more than most things, almost more than anything, is when I hear stuff about people, and maybe they're friends of mine, maybe they're people I've networked with or I have relationships with, and they have a problem with somebody else that I have a relationship with or that I network with. And you know, it could be could be for legit reasons, it could be for completely asinine reasons. But I hate seeing it, especially when it's the latter, because I mean, I don't know the details. I don't know what happened between this person and that person, but I see things that just don't look right. They're not right. They shouldn't be happening within this community. We shouldn't be acting like we're better than any one person or group of people, and we should be able to respect each other even if we don't like each other that much. We shouldn't have to put on a fake facade in order to stomach being in the room with that person. We should be able to respect one another. Is that always possible realistically? Unfortunately, no, because there are people who, unfortunately, in every community, by and large, they don't act respectfully, and they're not worthy of anyone's respect because their reputation precedes them and their character is before them, and how they behave is an absolute reflection of that character. If they're acting douchey or mean, or they're acting like bullies, or they're acting like entitled, spoiled whatevers, and that's how they treat everyone, then yeah, I would imagine it's going to be very hard for most of us to actually give you any kind of respect whatsoever. Bare minimum, we're going to be kind to you. We're going to be like, yeah, how's it going? Okay, great. Good, you know, good talk. Good to see you. All right, I'm going to move on to this place over here away from you. There's a difference between that and when we purposefully, intentionally decide that, you know, maybe we're going to snub this person or talk crap about them or just act like we're better. And I know I keep repeating those phrases over and over, but they all go hand in hand. We may not be doing all three of those things at once, but people who do any one of those things at any given time, you know what? It's really crappy. It really sucks, and I wish it didn't happen. I honestly don't believe I'm better than anyone. I mean, no matter what kind of content I create, no matter how unique it is, no matter how set apart it might be, I'm not better than my fellow content creators. I just do things differently. I stay in my lane, I do what I know, I do the best that I can, I work with what I have, and I try to grow, I try to learn, I try to make sure that I'm doing better and better all the time and not staying in one spot, because, I mean, that's how you grow as a creator. But I don't look at certain content creators, and I'm going to drop a couple of names just because they are friends of mine. I don't look at like 505 Cigar Review and think, oh, you know, I need to do better than what he's doing or blah, 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 because I'm like, he's doing what he's doing, I'm doing what I'm doing, not in competition with him. Cigar Titans, they do a lot of cool shit. They have way more subscribers than I do, and they get to do some really cool endorsement deals that I've seen. I'm actually very happy for them, very proud of them. I'm not in competition with them either. In fact, a lot of times I actually go to them for pointers. Cigar Show Tim, who used to be on Dad Smoking Cigars with me, is a friend of mine. I've known him for years. I'm not in competition with him either because he's doing his own thing the way he knows how to do it in his own way, and I'm doing the exact same. And you know what? I'm happy for him whatever happens, because I also know that him, the Titans, 505, anybody else, they would be happy for and proud of me being able to achieve what I'm able to achieve, because I'm working hard at it, and it's not a competition. And even if we have issues with each other, beef with each other, or we have a falling out or whatever, you will never hear me. I can't speak for them because this hasn't happened, thankfully, and, you know, hopefully it never will happen. Even if something happened and there was a little bit of bad blood, I would still respect them. I would still, you know, respect them as content creators, as cigar enthusiasts, and people that I've known for a very long time. And I will never ever try to compete with them. I definitely will never ever talk shit about them or act like I'm better than them. We're always going to encounter people we do not like, people who we have a hard time being around, people who we feel like are just, I don't know, maybe we feel like they're garbage, maybe we feel like they're awful people. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. But I really, really hate seeing the kind of attitudes among fellow cigar creators, men, women, anyone, groups of people, clubs, etc., when there's this animosity and when there's this need where they feel compelled to act like they're a step above, or that they're better, or that they, I don't know, have cooler this, cooler that. I don't know. It doesn't really matter, but I hate seeing it because it doesn't really have a place in this community. Me talking shit about my fellow creators, let's kind of keep it in a certain, you know, demographic. There's a lot of men and women out there who are creating awesome cigar content. And it's counterintuitive when we start acting like we're better than certain people. I mean, I've seen it happen in both camps, men and women, who are acting like they're better than their fellow men or women. They're acting like they've got it, going on even better than their counterparts. And it's kind of sucks because, again, counterintuitive and counterproductive. We shouldn't be treating each other like that. It's not widespread by any stretch, but I've seen far too much of it in the 4 years that I've been a part of the cigar community the way that I have, and I still absolutely hate it. I hate that it happens. I wish it didn't, and I wish we all would at the very least just try. Just try to respect each other, even if we don't like each other, even if we've been hurt by one another in some way, shape, or form. Yeah, that sucks. It's messed up if we get hurt, but let's try to be civil, let's try to be dignified, and let's not continually carry that axe to grind or carry that beef with them forever. Looking at them and thinking that they're a piece of garbage and I hope bad things happen to them. Because honestly, what purpose does that serve? Other than to fuel your own fire of animosity and just any other negative emotion you'd like to carry around for long periods of time, it's going to weigh you down. And again, counterintuitive, counterproductive. Helps no one, definitely doesn't help you. So let's not compete. Let's compliment one another. Let's not, bash on each other, even if we don't really particularly care for certain people, certain brands, certain creators. Let's at least have some sort of baseline respect for one another. But like, they're doing their thing, I'm doing mine. I don't need to worry about them. I'm focusing on what I'm doing. Stay in your lane. You do you. And honestly, that's a beautiful thing. Stay connected with the people that you trust and respect most. Learn from them, glean from them. Don't worry about those people who you really don't care to interact with or see. I'm going to close with an awesome example that actually just happened this past week when I went to an event in Orange County for Black Star Line Cigars. Fantastic night. Got to network and talk with some really great people, including Eric, who owns Black Star Line Cigars, and Tony of Casa de Sueño Cigars, among other people. Towards the end of the night, Eric and Tony were having a discussion, and it led to some really beautiful territory, which I wasn't expecting but was so glad to see. Eric said to Tony, he says, "You know what, honestly, man, you're not my competition. I don't see you as a competition. I see as both working for the same company." Because they both enjoy each other's cigars. They both support one another. They both encourage one another. And yeah, they are different companies. You could say that they're rival companies if you like. But in reality, that's not how they see it. It was a beautiful picture of what it should be like in the community. Now, I hope that there's never anything that happens between those two great guys that would ever make them feel differently, because things happen, times change, people change. You never know what's going to happen. But those two are keeping it real in the best way possible. And they're seeing each other as brothers, family, people who support each other, even though they both have their own businesses to attend to, and see that they make the profit and the living that they want this company to afford them. And I truly believe they're going to go to amazing places because their passion is evident, and they are passionate about other people who love cigars and other companies who create cigars. And I thought it was a beautiful and pretty much perfect picture of how things should be in this community. Because it's not a competition, friends. It shouldn't be anyways. So let's try not to compete with each other. Let's not look down on one another. Let's not act like in any way, shape, or form that we're better than anyone else. We're all doing pretty much the same type of thing. At the very least, we are pursuing our love of cigars. Some of us as a career, some of us as a hobby, some of us just for fun. In any case, we're all here to enjoy these cigars. Great conversation and great community. Let's keep it that way. There ain't no room for politics up in here, and there ain't no room for discord either. So let's try and snuff that out to the best of our ability and have fun. That's it for this video, guys. I hope you liked it. If you haven't subscribed, please do. And like this video. It really helps the channel become more visible. And also feel free to drop a comment. I love interacting with you guys, and I respond to every comment that you guys leave. So please drop me a comment and say hello. In any case, guys, that's it for this video. Thanks again for tuning in. I appreciate all of you very much. Stay smoky out there, and as always, I will catch you in the next one.